So if you don't already know Alice Reeves, she is a social media expert and one of the co-directors of The Joyful, who are a brand and marketing organization all about using marketing as a power for good to showcase individuals and businesses who are doing great things and help them shout out authentically and powerfully about who they are and what they're up to. So we reached out to Alice specifically to do the session because, as we all know, video is a kind of theme that's come up a lot around marketing, and even more so this last year when we're having to be on video a lot more. So what we hear from a lot of people in this community is that that's not always very easy, and it's something that Alice has a lot of experience with when she's supporting her clients. There's one kind of fear around the tools. There's a whole load of stuff that comes up about, visibility of yourself as an individual, and lots of other things that come into the mix. So we're going to kind of create the space, really talk to what those things are, get some really practical and supportive advice from Alice. And like I said, also that open up the conversation and hear what questions you've got and how you can leave the session feeling much more confident in being able to be visible on camera. So that's all I'm going to share about there. There's Alice and her company's social handles. Do go follow them. They do amazing stuff. And you can learn a lot from even just how they are on a video as well. And I'm going to stop sharing there, Alice, and hand over to you.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Sarah. And hi, everyone. Lots of familiar faces, lots of new faces. Right, let me get my presentation up. Can everybody see my screen? Great. And Sarah, are you happy to just sort of keep an eye on the chat for me in case anyone has any questions?
Absolutely.
And if any hands go up as well. On Zoom, there's a little button, if you click on participants, that says raise hand. Absolutely fine to interrupt me as I'm going through today. So if you have any questions, just put your hand up, and Sarah, if you could just let me know, that would be brilliant. So thanks, Sarah, for the introduction. My name is Alice, and as Sarah mentioned, I am co-director of The Joyful, and we are a brand and marketing agency for movers, shakers, and change makers. And that essentially means we want to work with people who are passionate about what they do. They want to go somewhere. They want to shake things up, either in their industry, in the world, by doing something different. And they want to have an impact and make some kind of positive change. And those are the kind of people, just like all of you. That's why you're in the Good Business Club. And you're the sorts of people that we absolutely love working with. So before we go into the session today, I'd really like to hear from some of you. Just come off mute. That's absolutely fine. I'd love to hear from you if you're using video already. And if you're not, or even if you are, what are your blocks and what do you feel like you need to be able to move forward and confidently create video for your marketing?
Right, I'll go first then. I'm an accountant, so I'm trying to get over to my clients how I can help them and also delve into their numbers. So I used Loom, which I'm okay, so that records my screen.
Great.
And for me, it puts just a small picture of me down the bottom, and I can sort of handle that. When it becomes bigger, that's when I sort of start to think, I look at my screen and see myself, and it looks very dark. I'm not sure I've got the lighting right. Just really simple things, really. But I just need the confidence and a bit of. I got myself a Logitech camera, but to me, it never seemed a lot better than the during lockdown. But it never seemed a lot better than the camera on my laptop. But I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something right, or the settings seem to be driving me mad. So
Everything looks good to me now. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's it. So just to me on my screen, seeing myself, I just look dark, and my glasses seem all reflecting, the light and stuff like that. So it's a bit weird, but there you go. So I can handle myself as a small bit on the corner of a loom, but when it gets a bit bigger, it all gets a bit scary, really.
Okay, perfect. Well, my business partner Sophie did a session a while back on visibility, And a lot, if you haven't watched that session, that is a really great lead in to this session, because that talks a lot about mindset, confidence, visibility, how to come up with content ideas. And then this session is about kind of getting those ideas out there. So Mark, there's going to be absolutely some practical tips. Loom is on one of my slides as a recommended tool as well. So yeah, that's really great. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be able to help you out. Anyone else?
I've just done it. I say all the time. Really annoying. And like somebody else said, my mind goes completely blank. I might have done all the work for it, and like I did a little film last week, with what's his name, with Park. Really lovely bloke. He was very, very patient with me. I got it all sorted in my head, and then when it came to actually saying it, it's just like it's gone.
Yeah,
it's so frustrating.
Great. I will certainly make sure I touch on that later in the tools section.
I've got one. It's background distraction. So what to do about background. At the moment, I've set up now in my spare room against a blank wall, but even that doesn't look great. So how to brand that, yeah.
Perfect.
For me, slightly following up on what Antoinette said in terms of background, I love my background, but my lighting's not great, and there's literally nothing I can do about my lighting. This is my little office room. I'm always going to have the window behind me, so it's just trying to find cheap lighting from the front that also, the same as Mark has in terms of like the reflection from the glasses drives me absolutely insane. And means as well, I'm about to record a coaching session tomorrow, and for me to be well lit means that people aren't going to be able to see my eyes properly because I wear glasses, which is annoying when you're trying to do a coaching demo. I love my background, and I've done like a blurred version of my background, but then with Zoom, I don't know if it's because I've got short hair, but I'm kind of like always going in and out of the frame. It kind of decides that my hair is part of the background. So like a simple solution for like a simple green screen as well. So it's all technical stuff really rather than blocks.
Yeah, great. Yeah, those Zoom backgrounds are a bit dodgy. Great. Okay. And anyone? Yes, Kayla.
So my block is communicating what's a very complicated technical subject in a way that is easier for people to understand. So breaking it down without losing the complexity, I guess, because for me, it's important that people understand how complicated it is, and yet I don't want them to become intimidated. So it needs to be approachable, but also communicating the actuality of the technology, I guess.
Great. Perfect. Well, what's great news is that it looks like we're going to cover most of it. I've kept the presentation fairly short, so there'll be plenty of time for questions afterwards, and I will be sharing it afterwards as well, so you'll have the slides with all of the information on. And of course, at any point, if you have any questions, just raise your hand. Okay, so what we'll be covering today broadly is all of the places you can post your videos and the various formats available. There are so many different video formats out there. So if one doesn't work for you, the great news is that you can keep experimenting and find the one that does. We'll go through some top tips and best practices to make your videos look good. I have got a slide in there on some mindset stuff as well, which is stuff that's really helped me. Believe it or not, at the start of this year, I was really blinking nervous about going on video, but then we're in a pandemic, and it had to be done. So I've got a lot of, hopefully I can share a lot of tips that will help you out because they really help me as well. And then some handy tools at the end, which will make your life easier. I am not in any way a pro video maker. I've never had any training. I'm not a producer. I don't know how to do fancy stuff. And all of the tools I'm recommending are so simple to use. You do not need any formal training. So hopefully that helps with the confidence. So I just wanted to pop a little bit at the start around why video matters for marketing. It is quite scary going on video. So I really just wanted to highlight the importance of it in terms of the direction that the marketing landscape's going in. So by 2022, online videos are going to make up more than 82% of all consumer internet traffic. That's everything we consume on the internet. And in the last, that's literally going to be an increase of 15 times over the space of 5 years, which is huge. So video is here to stay. From a customer perspective, 72% of customers say they would rather learn about a product or service by way of video. And Kayla, that's so important from what you were saying about complex products. Having a video explainer or even a conversation with someone is a much more effective way of communicating complex topics than written content. And what's great is that social media posts with video have 48% more views. Now, this is because people want to interact with video more than they want to interact with any other type of content. And you'll see, how that's manifesting when we look at all of the different video formats that have sprung up over the last few years. And it also means that video gets prioritized within the social media algorithms. So if you're not sure what a social media algorithm is, essentially when you log into social media, the algorithm is what decides what you see in your news feed. And it's based on popular content within your own networks. It's based on people that you've interacted with and engaged with before. It's based on subjects that you've interacted with and engaged with before. And essentially what the social media networks are doing is going, we only want to show the best content within this feed to make sure that people stay engaging and stay on our site for longer. And video is a massive priority because it results in high engagement. And then social video gets shared 1,200% more than text and images combined. So if you want those shares and you're wondering why your social media strategy isn't working and you're not using video, that's why. And what can be a bit intimidating is that it's not just, stick video on social. There are so many different video formats across all of the different platforms, and they all lend themselves to different lengths as well. So YouTube videos, you can have up to 12 hours of yourself. If, I don't think, Kayla, your subject's going to be that complex, but just in case it is, you could put a 12-hour video up there. Facebook videos can be up to 4 hours. LinkedIn videos, 10 minutes. Twitter, even shorter, 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Instagram TV, weirdly, I don't make the rules. It can be 15 minutes long if you upload it on your mobile. It can be 60 minutes long if you upload it on the web. So those are your kind of longer form content. And where those when I talk about longer form video, I essentially mean anything that is more than 3 minutes. And given people's attention spans, if you are going to create a video that's more than 3 minutes, it needs to be something that is worth sitting down and watching, that is going to be explaining a concept, that is going to be adding value, that is going to be offering some kind of training, that is going to be entertaining, because people's attention spans are short. And when you're scrolling social media, as we'll see later, it is highly unlikely anyone is really going to sit and watch a long video. However, they might seek out a longer video if they want to learn more about a particular topic. So that is where the longer videos really work as explainers, as training sessions, and as interviews. So almost like kind of little video versions of podcasts where you're interviewing someone about a topic that your audiences are likely to be interested in. So there is 100% a place for longer video, but if you think of that more as like a content product that you want to drive people to rather than a marketing tool. Then you've got your Instagram feed and your shorter form videos. So these are your 60-second Instagram feed explainers, which work really well on other social channels as well. You've got your 15-second stories. Does everyone know what stories are? Put your hand up if you want me to explain. Okay, so a story, because a couple of hands went up, is a piece of content on Instagram. So if you log into your Instagram, and they're on Twitter are now experimenting with stories, LinkedIn, they're on Facebook, but they started on Instagram, who stole them from Snapchat. And they are portrait disappearing content that lasts for 15 seconds. And they will stay on your feed for 24 hours. So you watch it, it's like a little 15-second snippet. People string them together in slideshows. If you go onto Instagram, you'll see the circles. If you click on the circles, you can be lost in a hole of people's Instagram stories for hours. And some of them are funny and some of them are interesting. And yeah, it's a format that is worth exploring, particularly if you feel that your business or your content has topics that will lend themselves really well to those little 15-second snippets. A lot of people use them to really quickly show products, to give insight into kind of behind the scenes stuff, to show what you're up to that day. You know, during lockdown, there's been lots of photos of like people showing scenery. They've been out on walks. A lot of them are humorous and quite jokey. So those are your little 15-second story snippets. And if you string them together, you can have like a slideshow that people can click through that tells a story. So they're a really, really interesting, playful format. And then you've got Reels and TikTok. Has anyone ventured into the world of TikTok yet? Oh, phew, me neither. I don't feel like a dinosaur. I have an account and I just sort of get lost in a hole every time I go on there, and then half an hour has passed and I've got no idea what I've watched. But in Instagram Reels, essentially, pattern here, they stole it from TikTok. So what these are they're like little 15 to 30-second videos where you can use your smartphone to string lots of little different snippets of video together. So you can do like cut scenes where you might have seen people like covering their camera and then taking their hand away and they've had like a makeover. So that it's a really, really fun way of creating dynamic video content without any real video editing experience. You can do it all on your smartphone. And if you want content inspiration, it is worth looking through a few reels because people are doing some really, really fun, interesting, engaging stuff. You can like overlay audio, so you can use like your favorite songs. You can take audio clips from other people's video and lip sync. So if you are the kind of business where those little really fun, short, dynamic explainers are good for you, then Reels is definitely something worth exploring. I've got a client at the moment that runs mindfulness workshops and mindfulness programs, and they've been using Reels to do like little snippets of how to find mindfulness in your day. So like how to do mindful washing up, how to mindfully make a cup of tea, and it's working really, really well for them, and they're doing really well. So so definitely worth checking out Reels if you want to have like a bit more fun with your video. And then you've got your lives. Who's done a live before? Put your hand up. Antoinette, nice. Suze, nice. Jenny, brilliant. Live video strikes fear into the hearts of most people, but I actually really like doing it. And I think because if you're a perfectionist, live video is something I would highly recommend because it goes out the way it is. You don't have the opportunity to play with it and edit it and go back and correct yourself and second guess and then decide not to post it, which a lot of people do with video. It's just out there, and people are engaging during the broadcast via comments. So you get that feedback and that encouragement. And I actually kind of, in a weird way, find going live less intimidating than if I have to film a video of myself that I then have to upload. And you don't have to just be talking on your own. You can hook Zoom up to live on Facebook and YouTube. There's also a really great tool called StreamYard, which allows you to stream to multiple platforms at once when you're interviewing someone else. So it's almost like a live kind of podcast that people can watch and interact with, like a webinar or an event that's going out to anyone who wants to tune in. So, you know, that is actually a really great tip. If you're really nervous about going on video and you blank, try easing yourself into video by interviewing someone else. So then you can prepare your set questions and you can talk to them, and then it just becomes a conversation. And that for me was absolutely the gateway to ease me in. If you go on our Joyful YouTube channel, you'll see that the majority of our videos are Sophie and I just side by side, filmed in Zoom, talking to each other and having conversations about things that are relevant to our business and to our customers. So you can make video work for you is the theme of this. And have fun, experiment. It's all an opportunity to have a play and see what works for you. Because the key thing is you want to choose the format of video you enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, if it feels like a chore, if you don't like how it looks, if it doesn't feel like you're not going to be motivated to do it. And that's the brilliant thing about social media. It's so temporal. It just goes. You can experiment, you can play until you find your groove, and then it's just going to disappear into the ether of the internet. So as well as social media, some other ways to use video are on your website. So you can, if you're uploading video to YouTube or Vimeo, you can embed it on your website. There's some really compelling stats, like a website is 53 times more likely to reach the front page of Google if it includes video. If you're doing courses, if you're selling online, including a video on your landing page can boost conversion by up to 80%. And video also increases organic search traffic on a website by 157%. So if you're creating these videos for social, thinking about where you can also create video that works for social and works for your website is really great. So some ideas might be on your homepage to have a video of you. First thing on your homepage, instead of an image of yourself, talking about who you are and what you do, just like a 60-second video, really quick, telling people who you are. Videos of your products. So there are, you know, certain fashion brands have been doing this for years and years and years, is that as well as the photos on their product page, they have someone wearing the clothes so you can see how it looks in the real world. Have little product demonstrations if you're selling products. On your about page, have a video of you talking about yourself and why you're doing what you love. If you struggle to write blogs as well, but you are good at talking, filming yourself talking about a subject, then transcribing it into a blog post and embedding the video is a really great way of creating content for yourself. You've got written content and you've got video content all in one. So people hit your page and they can choose how to engage. They can watch the video or they can read the blog. So you're catering then to the different ways that people like to take in information, which is really great. Some people like to watch, some people like to read. And then of course, the theme of 2020 has been webinars and online events. So online events, obviously they're all on video. If you record them like Sarah's doing with this presentation, you can take little snippets out where people have said things that really resonate, that work as, you know, minute to 2 minute snippets. Use those on social media, and then they can drive people back to a recording of your webinar, a recording of your event. So every time you do one of these big long videos, which are, you know, an interview or a webinar or an event, think about how, and I'll share a tool for this later. Think about how you can chop the video up into smaller snippets and then use that as additional video content for your marketing. Lots of possibilities. So, are there any questions on that before we go into some more practical tips? Yes, Jenny. Oh, you're on mute.
I just wanted to, which do you think is the best platform for those webinars? You know, is it Zoom? You know,
I-
are they the only ones that do breakout rooms? Do you know?
I use Zoom, and I have only used Zoom, so that would be my recommendation. I know that a lot of kind of my more corporate clients use like GoToWebinar, but for me, I think Zoom is the best one because most people will already have it after this year. They'll know how to use it. It's really user friendly. And you've got the kind of Zoom meetings package like this, but then they also have their webinar package where, like, now we can all interact and we're all in a room because we're in a Zoom meeting, but the Zoom webinar package essentially allows lots of people to join and watch, but not be participants like this in a meeting. So you can't see them, but they can like interact via the chat. And that's if you wanted, you know, more than 100 people on a webinar. So Zoom is really versatile. They've been massively adaptive. Obviously this year their revenue has massively increased, and the rate at which their product development is going, they're putting out new features and improving things all of the time. So yeah, as a familiar tool, I'd recommend Zoom. And also it can do stuff like plug into Facebook Live. You can broadcast directly from Zoom. You can film your own. If you don't have a kind of piece of like software on your computer, you can just use Zoom to record yourself, to make your own videos. You know, you can get people on a call and film an interview in advance. So it's really, really versatile as a video tool. So that would be what I would recommend.
Lovely, thank you.
Great. Okay. Getting the most from your video. So people have really, really short attention spans. 33% of people say they stop watching a video after 30 seconds, 45% stop after 1 minute, and 60% stop after 2 minutes. So this is why you want to be making sure that especially if your videos are promotional, if you're talking about a product or a service or yourself or what you do, or you want something that's going to be easily digestible for people scrolling social media, you really want to kind of keep it under that 2 minute mark. It's really good practice to try and keep it under 60 seconds. Then it can go out on Instagram in the feed, and you know, that will help you with your like ums and ahs if you really practice being concise and time yourself. I remember I did one to promote a course I was doing. I wanted to do a 60-second video, and it took me like 5 attempts to get what I was saying under 60 seconds. But after I'd done it, I was like, oh yeah, that was really simple. That was really good and concise. So it's a good exercise in conciseness. Another really important thing to remember is that 85% of Facebook videos are watched without sound. So if you're putting stuff on Facebook, and I believe the same goes for the Instagram feed, when people scroll, they don't have sound on. So you want to either make sure that your videos are watchable without sound, or that they are subtitled. And I'll share a tool later that is really, really easy way to produce decent subtitles. And then 60% of Instagram stories are watched with the sound on. So if you're doing stories content, people are likely to know that they want to hear what's going on when they're sat watching a bunch of stories. So always just sort of good to know these sorts of stats so that you can really optimize your video for whichever format you're choosing. And then viewers are 80% more likely to watch a video until the end when you've got subtitles. So 100% worth putting that extra effort in to make sure that your video's got those subtitles on. And I'll touch a bit on the problem with auto-generated subtitles. So a summary to make sure your videos get the most engagement. You want to keep your social videos as short as possible, preferably under 2 minutes, ideally under 60 seconds. Include subtitles, preferably your own, as auto capture can have some embarrassing mistakes. All you need to do is Google auto subtitle fail, and you will see many, many hilarious mistakes. I've got a client, you know, where every time I do a video for them and I run it through our subtitle generator, it gets their brand name wrong. They've got people in America, they've got people all over the UK, they've got people in Europe. Auto subtitles are not very good at detecting any kind of regional accent. at all. They will make you sound like you are spouting absolute garbage unless you are enunciating like this when you are filming. Make sure your video is optimized for the channel that you're posting to. So these are square videos for the Instagram grid, portrait for IGTV stories and reels, landscape for YouTube. And if you're unsure of what the right specification of video is, if you just Google like Facebook video specs, Instagram stories video specs, on each of the social channels, it will come up in Google as like the first thing. Every social media platform has like official, always up-to-date guidance for what format they recommend the videos are in. So if you're unsure in any way, it's always worth checking these. I make sure that I check them regularly to make sure that I'm giving the right advice to clients, because social media channels change their rules and their specs all the time. So it's worth just keeping an eye on them to make sure that your videos look as great as they can. So I'm guessing people here don't have their own production studio. People are not, you know, no expensive DSLRs, no like budding Steven Spielbergs here. Great, these tips will help. So in terms of filming your own videos on a budget, it can be done. It used to be a myth that videos were massively expensive to produce. Not so much anymore, and definitely not this year, because there has been an explosion. So my first tip is dress in a way that makes you feel confident and relaxed. You know, you wouldn't kind of stand up in front of a room full of people to give a talk in your pajamas and snugglies. You might, if you're speaking at a conference about sleep, I don't know. But dress in a way that makes you feel confident and relaxed, because if you feel confident and relaxed, that's how you're going to come across on video. Face the camera and look directly into the lens. As I'm presenting, I'm kind of looking at all of you. But it's really tempting when you're filming yourself to look at yourself while you're talking, and then your eyes kind of are cast down. So make sure that you look directly into the lens. And I haven't covered this in the tools, but something I think it was Jenny said made me make a note of it. If you are filming videos on your smartphone, there are a few apps which are teleprompters. So you put your script for your video, and then while your camera is filming you, the app can run in the background as a teleprompter, which you can just read. And it means that you're looking directly at the camera. It means that you're reading the prompts as they come up, and there's no room for ums and ahs. So if you do have an issue remembering what to say and your mind goes blank, I would definitely recommend getting a teleprompter app. I haven't used one personally because I just tend to point the camera at myself and whatever comes out of my mouth is what's going out. But they are really useful if you get nervous to build your confidence. Whether you film in portrait or landscape depends on the platform. So just make sure that you have checked that before you film your video. Balance your phone or camera on a sturdy surface or a tripod. You can buy really cheap smartphone tripods for like £10, £50 online, and they're adjustable height and they just clip your phone in. I would 100% recommend investing in one of those, because they normally have a handle on, so you can turn it landscape, you can turn it portrait. They've got a little spirit level on, and you can see whether your camera's straight. Really, really good investment if you're going to be filming a lot of video. Center yourself in the screen, so you're not like off to one side or like down here, because that's really off-putting. So you want to be nice and centered in the screen, not like really far back. So there's loads of space. You kind of want to be about here. That's a good position. And then leave enough space below your chin for subtitles to be added to your video. You don't want subtitles kind of going across your mouth. You want to make sure that when you put your subtitles on, you've got the space underneath. Ensure your face is well lit and that your features are clearly visible. So we'll cover this later in the tool section, and I'll grab mine in a minute and show you. So you may want to invest in a ring light, or you can get lighting which is just like a block light, or film facing a window, which lets in plenty of natural light. If you have a window behind you or to the side, you will want to light yourself in some way. So just find the one that works for you. And then film against a clear or simple background, no distractions, so the focus is on you. Doesn't mean you can't have a plant or a painting, but really busy stuff, people are going to be like, what's that behind them? And you don't really want that. I'll come on again when I talk about equipment to some background stuff as well. You don't have to read from a script, but plan what you're going to say to avoid too many ums and ahs. So a teleprompter is a really great way around this because you can just read the script. But what I tend to do is I just plan out in bullet points the key things I want to cover, and then I'll kind of run it through a few times to myself to make sure that before I hit record, I at least have a sense of what I'm trying to say. If you're going into an interview or a conversation, or you're doing a long video, it doesn't really have to be scripted. This is really when you're thinking about working to a time limit. So 60 seconds, 2-minute videos, and you want to make sure that you're making use of all of those seconds without having to edit chunks out. Any questions on?
Yeah, Dave had a question.
Dave, yes, go for it.
Hello.
Hi.
So it was just about your opinion on what I'm thinking is, like, in terms of the business, that there's obviously an app called Headspace, which they've started really doing animations and then having a talk over that. So using characters, so I could use them a little cloud kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think just for a brand that's just a bit more friendly, it gives it more kind of longevity as well. And it means personally I can move away from the brand or something like that eventually. But I just kind of wondered if you had any knowledge or feedback of like animations, or if they're a good way to connect to a brand or something like that.
Yes.
Just your feedback.
Yes. Yeah. Short answer, yes. Animation's great. I have a bit on this in the tools section as well. So I will absolutely cover that then. Great. Okay, perfect. So practice, practice, practice. That is how you get confident on video. You probably won't be confident with your first video, with your second, even your third, but after you've done it a few times, your confidence will grow. So I wanted to put a little bit in on some mindset stuff. So first of all, loads of people are nervous about video. You are not alone. I sent some emails to some clients yesterday saying, we need a video of you for this, this, and this. And every single one of them has messaged you back going, I don't think I'm going to be any good on video. So then we go into our don't worry mode and say all of these sorts of things. So do a few practice runs and test runs. This is always a great idea to test your sound and your lighting anyway. But it also gets you confident. It gets you used to seeing that recording light. It gets you used to having the camera on you. You can kind of see what you do with your hands. You can see what you know, if you're kind of moving around a lot. And it gets you used to kind of hearing the sound of your own voice and watching your own face, which is a barrier that a lot of people have. And like, who really likes listening to their own voice, really? If you want to go live, test some live broadcasts with a few friends if you're nervous. So you could get some friends in a little Facebook group, test a live broadcast, see how it all works. My partner's a musician. So during lockdown, we've done a few live kind of music gigs that we've streamed on Facebook, and each time we've just done a little, not advertised, just done a little live practice run for 5 minutes where she's just gone on and played a song and asked people if the sound and the lighting is good. So they're a really great way to test, low pressure if you're feeling nervous. Don't put any pressure on yourself for it to look or sound a certain way. Like, no one is expecting anything of you. So just put it out there, see how it goes, see how people respond. Ultimately, you don't have to copy anyone else. You need to be you on video, and it needs to feel good to you. There's no need to be perfect. one for the perfectionists, including myself. No one is expecting perfection. Perfection doesn't even exist. The more you do it, the less scary it is, I promise. And the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And you'll look back on your videos like in 6 months' time and go, oh my God, look how far I've come. Look how much more confident I am. Look how much better I am at using the tools. And you're not going to be amazing immediately. You need to, everyone has to start somewhere. And people really are more likely to envy how brave you are than judge you negatively. I don't know if anyone's heard of like I call it the 1-9-90 principle, but the pyramid. I don't know how many people have heard of it, but if you think of like all of the content on the internet, 90% of people who use the internet never share any of their own content, really. 9% of people kind of reshare other people's content, and like 1% of all internet users are actually creating original ideas. So even by putting stuff out there, you are in the 1% of people who are brave enough to be creating original content, and no one is going to slam you for that. And if they do, that's not on you. So you're being so brave in putting yourself out there on video, and most people are just going to be like, massive respect to you for doing that. And everyone will think you look and sound great because you do, because you're you. And don't be afraid to play and experiment. Social media is a massive playground. It's fun. It's joyful. So use it as that. Just put stuff out there, see what happens. Don't get attached to outcomes. And I think you'll be really surprised. Any questions on mindset before we go into the final bit on tools, and then we can open up to questions? Fabulous. Okay, helpful tools. So this is not an exhaustive list. These are tools that I use that I find really helpful. There are many, many variations of tools like this. These are just the ones that I have found that have worked for me. You do not have to be the next Steven Spielberg or have a huge budget to create engaging video. In fact, the more kind of authentic and homegrown the video, the more likely it is to get engagement. People are wise to these big, polished trailers. They know it's marketing. They know that these people have probably got a budget to do it. Be authentic, be down to earth, and be yourself. So, basic video kit. Essential: a webcam or smartphone, software to record, Zoom will do, or just your Photos app on your iPhone. You need a quiet space to film. You don't want lots of noise. I know people do all sorts of things like hang up duvets across windows to kind of create a bit of soundproofing, but I'm on a kind of, I'm just off Palmyra Square in Hove. I've got single glazed windows and I haven't got any extra soundproofing, and this is quiet enough. It doesn't have to be completely silent. Recommended is a ring light. I'm going to show you the one that I have. It's about £40. So this is the ring light that I have. It's a tripod. It's got a little thing that I can slot my phone in, so it's right in the center of the light. So it gives me a nice even lighting around my face. It's got a few different settings, so it can be really white, it can be really warm. And for the glasses wearers, I have done a couple of broadcasts with this ring light with my glasses on, and the light reflection really is not too bad. Because it sits as a ring rather than like a big block light. It kind of lights around your face rather than shining straight into your glasses. There is not going to be any way, if you need to wear your glasses while you're filming, that you are not going to get some kind of reflection. So I would just say ring light is your best bet, and just don't worry too much about it, because you're making a home video. So ring light, massively recommended if you don't have much natural light. A tripod. So my ring light is a tripod built in, but you can get separate little tripods as well. And an external microphone. So if your laptop sound is really bad and it's tinny, that's not going to be very nice to listen to. So the microphone I have is, which I'm talking on now, is this one, which is the Blue Snowball. It's about £50 and it just plugs into a USB to your laptop. I've used it for podcasts, I've used it for video, and it's a really, really great, affordable microphone. And then nice to have, and this is where I come onto the background, because my partner's been making music videos and experimenting, we bought a green screen. And it was about 140 quid and it comes with the lights and it's so fun. So if you really want to experiment without the dodgy Zoom backgrounds that like cut you out, you can get a green screen and it just sets up, like it comes out the box, it goes up like one of the old like OHP projector screens. It comes with 2 lights and you just stand in front of it, stick it in a video editing program and you can choose your background. And it's really fun. And we're about to share a video on the Joyful that we filmed part on a green screen, so you'll be able to see how that looks when that goes out. But yeah, if you are really worried about your background, it's literally about, it's wide enough to, or it's narrow enough to fit in a small room, and it just pops up and pops back down again. So yeah, it's fun. It'll probably make Zoom backgrounds actually work if you put a green screen behind you as well. So easy production tools, easy and cheap production tools, I should say. So the first one is Clidio. So this is an in-browser video editor, which costs about £56 for a year's subscription. It's all done in the cloud, so you don't have to worry about big videos taking up chunks of space on your laptop. You can easily edit videos, you can crop them to resize them for social channels, you can upload an hour-long video and snip it down really easily. You can add subtitles, which you can choose fonts and colors. I have literally no experience making video, and I have found Clidio so easy to use. The second one is Canva, which is about £100 for the year. If you are making any content on social media, I would recommend Canva. It is the single best investment you can make if you are not a graphic designer. And Dave, in answer to your questions, you can create animated graphics on Canva. So you can upload all of your brand assets, you can have them slide in, you can have text slide in and out, you can add, you know, when you've exported it, you can then add your voiceover and add music in a video editing tool. And you don't need any animation experience because it's all kind of, and it, you know, obviously if you paid a professional animator, it would look, you could do a lot more functionality wise, but particularly for use in social media ads, we've been creating lots of these little 20 to 30 second graphics for our clients using Canva, which are little explainers where words pop in and out. There might be a bit of music or a voiceover, and they're all done in Canva, and they get great engagement and they look really good. The other brilliant thing about Canva Pro is you have access to a stock video library. So it doesn't even have to all be you. You can add relevant snippets, and it's not that bad, like as far as stock video goes. Jenny, yes, you've got your hand up.
It was just to say, we have the Pro Canva, and we get it for free because we're a business doing good kind of thing. So everybody here should be able to do that. So it's just worth looking up.
Yeah, brilliant. But Canva's great because you can, as well as creating these like fully animated graphics, you can create like slides for the beginning and end of your video that you can put onto the end. When you've edited your video snippets, you can upload them to Canva, edit the whole thing together there. You can add your logo, you can add text, you can add colors, fonts, so much stuff. It's such a powerful tool for video creation. So I use a combination of Clidio and Canva for my video production. Clidio I always use to add subtitles because it is such an easy way to do it, and you can change the background to be your brand colors and make it all look nice. Some additional useful tools: Otter. Otter is a fantastic tool anyway, because what it allows you to do is you can transcribe anything. You can transcribe meetings, you can add voice notes and it transcribes them. But the thing that I use it for is to generate subtitles. So you literally just upload your video into Otter. It generates your time-stamped subtitles, which is called an SRT file. So then you can just upload that to YouTube, to Facebook, to your subtitling tool, and it automatically adds all of your subtitles at exactly the right time in the video. You can edit them for spelling mistakes, and it's fantastic. It's so useful as a business tool anyway, and it just makes subtitling videos so much easier rather than having to type them yourself. And then Snagit and Loom. So Snagit is a screen capture and simultaneous voiceover recording. So you can then export them as MP4s or as GIFs if you want to do little like explainer GIFs for your website. Snagit's a really great tool. It's a one-time fee of £44.69 for some weird reason. It's not £45, but so it's a one-time fee, and it's really good because you can record your voice, you can record your screen, and then Loom does a really similar thing. As Mark mentioned at the start, Loom, you can record your screen and have a little camera of you in the bottom. So really great for like software demonstrations, explaining software to your clients, showing how things work while also showing a little bit of your face in the corner. And there's a basic free version there where you can make videos which are up to 5 minutes long, just with the free version of Loom. So that was everything.